Om Namo Narayani. Good morning, good evening, wherever we are all joining in from. Today we move on to our week 68th class of Sri Lalitha Sahasranamam. We will be looking at Sri Lalitha's names from 468 to 474. Let us begin with our prayers. Om Jnanarupaya Vidmahe Shaktiyam Saya Dhimahi Tanno Shaktiyam Ma Prachodayat. Om Jnanarupaya Vidmahe Shaktiyam Saya Dhimahi Tanno Shaktiyam Ma Prachodayat. Om Jnanarupaya Vidmahe Shaktiyam Saya Dhimahi Tanno Shaktiyam Ma Prachodayat. Om Sarvamangalamangallye Shive Sarvarthasadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Sarvamangalamangallye Shive Sarvarthasadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Sarvamangalamangallye Shive Sarvarthasadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dhyanam Sindhuraruna Vigraham Trinayanam Manikya Maulisfuratara Nayaka Sekharam Smitamukhi Mapina Vakshoruham Panibhyam Malipurnaratna Chashakam Raktotpalam Bibhratim Saumyam Ratnaghatastha Rakta Charanam Dhyayit Paramambikam Dhyayit Padmasanastham Vikasita Badanam Padmapatra Yatakshim Hemabam Pitabastram Karakalitalaset Hema Padmam Varangim Sarvalankarayuktam satatam abhayatam bhaktanam ram bhavanim Shri Vidyam Shantamurtim Sakala Suranutam Sarva Sampat Pradadrim Sakunkuma Vilepanam Alika Chumbika Surikam Samanda Hasitekshanam Suchara Chapa Pasankusam Asesha Janamohini Maruna Malya Bhushojwalam Japa Kusuma Bhasuram Japa Vidho Smaredam Bikam Arunam Karunatarangitakshim Dhruta Pasan Kusa Pushpa Bana Chapan Animadhibhira Vritamayukhairaha Mityeva Vibhavaye Mahisi. Om Aim Hrim Shri Om Namo Narayani Om Shri Matre Namah Swaha. Let us start with Sri Lalitha Narayani's 468th name. Om Shri Vajrēśvaryai namah swaha. Om Shri Vajrēśvaryai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Om Shri Vajrēśvaryai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Om Shri Vajrēśvaryai namah swaha. Om Shri Vajrēśvaryai namah swaha. Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who is Vajrēśvari, the deity of Jālāndhar. There are many interpretations, several interpretations to this name. We have seen in her earlier name 378, she is Om Śreem Jālāndharasthitayai namah swaha. And we had this very special meaning given to us by Sri Shakti Amma. When I asked, what is this Jālāndhar? She said, it's not Jālāndhar as normally is given in the scripts. It's Jālāndhar. It is, she's like dangling without any support, holding to her in the midst of the space. She exists with nothing to support her or hold her. So anything dangles or hangs, it needs a support. And Jālāndhar, it represents our Anahata Chakra, the heart chakra. She is there with no other support. She resides there. She is in that space with just by herself. And the deity in the Jālāndhar, there is also a city by the name Jālāndhar. And she is the deity there. And the deity is called Vajrēśvari. Vajram literally means diamond. Vajrēśvari, someone of that caliber, that shine, that strength, and we equate diamond to something that's not breakable. You need a diamond to break a diamond. It is so strong. And any strength is equated to the diamond strength. It's very, very strong. She is Vajrēśvari. There is, we have seen Nithya Devis, the Nithya Devis for each day of the fortnight, the waxing phase and the waning phase. And then there are names of the deities for the morning and evening as well. So if we just take it from the 1st to the 15th day, from the first day of the moon phase till the full moon or the new moon, and the 16th is the 16th. And these Nithya Devis have various names, and we keep coming across them often. And Vajrēśvari is also the Nithya Devi's name for the waxing 6th moon phase. And Vajrēśvari is also the Nithya Devi's name for the waning 10th moon phase. There is also another meaning. We have seen the Sri Chakra. We keep going back to the Sri Chakra because the entire creations, the blueprint, the macrocosm is represented in the blueprint of the Sri Chakra. And it's said each microcosm, the body is the microcosm, and the Sri Chakra is within each one of us. And it's all the essence of it is, the potential of it is within, the possibility of it is within each of us. And we say there are like the 9 levels till you go to the core, the center. And in the 8th compartment, avaranas, these are referred to, 9 avaranas. The first 8, the 8th compartment, there is a wall that separates each. The 8th compartment of the Sri Chakra, the deity there is also referred to as Vajrēśvari. In fact, as we go through Sri Chakra and study of Sri Chakra, Sri Vidya, we will see that. And this is a very detailed study. Each step, there is a way to go through this process, like we are fine-tuning ourselves, processing ourselves to go to the core, the center where she is. If you are looking at it as an external wisdom, the process of Sri Vidya, it's an inner journey actually, the inward journey of going to merge with her, right within. And each process is like, it's processing us, the fine-tuning it. And there are so many devis, devatas, who are at each level, and each with their powers. And the deity in the 8th compartment, in the 8th level, she is also called Vajrēśvari in the Sri Chakra. And there is also another name to the Cosmic Mother as Vajrēśvari per se, because the Lord of all the Devas is called Indra. And Indra, he does tapas to the Cosmic Mother, and very pleased with his tapas, his penance. The Cosmic Mother, Sri Lalitha Narayani, comes and bestows this gift of Vajram, a thunderbolt. It's of that diamond, Vajram. She gives it to him. It is unbreakable. It is so strong. And Ayudam is weapons. So he receives Vajrāyudam, the Vajrāyudam, the weapon made of the diamond. And it is his weapon, Indra's weapon, and he receives it from the Cosmic Mother. So she's called Vajrēśvari. And more on this, there is also a story that Indra received this Vajrāyudam by worshipping, going and asking this sage rishi called Dadichi. And to fight the asuras, he needs a very strong weapon, an invincible weapon. And he is asked to go and pray to sage Dadichi, like we have sage Agastya, sage, so many of the siddhars. He goes to sage Dadichi, and his penance is so intense and pure. It is said that his bone, his spine is so strong like the Vajram, the diamond. And they say if you use his spine as your weapon, then you can destroy the asuras. So he prays to Dadichi, and Dadichi gives his spine, and from that he makes the weapons to destroy the asuras. And in the same context, we are also familiar with in yoga, we have various asanas, postures, and there is Vajrasana. You may have heard of Vajrasana. It is like, it's a posture where you straighten the spine and you're strengthening the spine. The entire spine is becoming each one of us has the Vajrāyudam within us. Our spine, when we train it to become strong, it becomes an invincible aspect of us. All the energy centers, everything, the nerves to the brain, coming from the Ida, Pingala, Sushumna, all the energy centers, all the chakras, the kula, the pathway of the chakras from the mula, dara to all the to the sahasrara, brahmarandra, it all goes through that spine, and the spine posture, the curvature is so important in many of the yogic practices, or even for any one seeking this inner journey. Keeping the body fit, healthy, and the spine fit is so important for all these processes. So that Vajrasana is a very, very powerful posture to train the spine, to keep that the mind in the moment with the breath in the body. And this Vajrasana with the breath is very, very sort of, when you sit in the Padmasana, also it straightens up the spine automatically. So all these various postures strengthen the body, strengthen the spine, like the diamond. It's so strong and in the right posture. There is also another name for her, like we saw in the Sri Chakra. There is the explanation in Sripuram. We saw one of her names in the Sripuram itself. There are many, many walls in Sripuram where she resides, the inner core in that city of Sripuram. And each wall is made of diamond. One of the sages, his name is Durvasar. He is one of the, the 12 prime devotees of Sri Lalitha. We saw in the Panchadasi mantra, Sodasi mantra. There are 12 ways of worshipping her through this mantra and through 12 prime devotees. And we saw several of them, Sage Agastya, his wife Lopamudra, Moon, Chandra, Kubera. We saw several of them. Durvasar is one of them. And he describes Lalitha and describes Sripuram in his treatise, Lalitha, Sri Lalitha's Ratnam. In that work, he describes the Sripuram. Each wall is made of diamond, and there are 12 walls even within the city of Sripuram. And between the 11th and the 12th wall, there runs the river Vajra, and she is Vajramai, Vajrēśvaryai. And this river is a diamond river that is flowing there. So there are various ways of reference to this Vajrēśvaryai, that she is, the diamond that she is, the strength, the power that she is. Her 469th name, Om Śreem Vāmadevai namah swaha. Om Śreem Vāmadevai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Om Śreem Vāmadevai, Vāmadevai, namah swaha, namah swaha. Om Śreem Vāmadevai, namah swaha. Om Śreem Vāmadevai, namah swaha. Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who is the consort of Vāmadevā, one aspect of Shiva. Shiva is like the Sahasranamam for Sri Lalitha, the Sahasranamam for Shiva, so many different aspects of describing the Shiva form, the power and the beauty and the essence of Shiva. Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike. She is also Shiva. And Vāmadevā is one of the descriptions is of Shiva with 5 faces. And one of the faces is called Vāmadevā. Ishana Tatpurusha Aghora Vāmadevā Sadyojata. And Vāmadevā is one of his faces. And Vāmadeva's consort, the feminine aspect of that is Vāmadevi. So Vāmadevi. And Vāma, we have come across this name Vāma earlier, in her earlier name 332. Om Śreem Vāmanayanaye namah swaha. Beautiful. Vāma also means very beautiful, beautiful eyes. We have seen Vāmācārā in 350, beautiful hair. Vāma, we've also seen, is one who gives out the fruit of the karma. Like Amma always says, the divine is like the teacher who only gives marks to whatever you write. If you do write very well, you get good marks. If you write poorly, you get bad, poor marks. Like that, our karma, we do good karma, we received the good benevolence, the blessings. We have bad karma, we receive the hardships. So she, Vāma, she just gives out the fruits of our karma. She's Vāmadevi. Vāma, we saw, is beautiful, the fair one. Vāma also means left. There are 2 ways. One way is looking at it is Ardhanāreeśwarar, the form of Shiva Shakti. You would have seen a form where the right half is Shiva and the left half is Shakti. So it's called Ardhanāri. Ardha is half, Nari is human form. The half form. So the Vāma, or the left half of Ardhanāreeśwarar, is Vāmadevi. She represents the left half. And in Saundharya Lakri, it's like she overtakes Shiva and she becomes the totality of Sri Lalitha Narayani, also because it is one and the same energy. When the kinetic and the potential interact, it is one and the same. Left here also is Vāma, the left. There is the left path, the Kaulācāra, the left path, the worshippers, those who do worship her in the left path, the Kaulācāra path. She bestows her blessings and her showers her bliss for worshippers who do the Samayācāra, the worship of seeing her within, and the vāmācārā, seeing her outside in the other, in that form of the Devi. And both are her paths. And we also see that she's Akulai. She's also not any path. So we are describing the Brahman as this, all this, and not any of this. So everything is a possibility under the realm of the Brahman that she is. We will now look at her 470th name. Om Śreem Vayovastha Vivarjitaye namah swaha. 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 Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who is devoid of the various stages of life and all changes related to aging. Bias relates to age. In Tamil we say, how old are you? Bias is age in Sanskrit, because this is Sanskrit, so bias is from that, both in Tamil and Sanskrit. Bias is age. Avastha is the stages, different states. There are different states or stages in aging, like Shakespeare's 7 stages of life, like that: childhood, from baby, childhood, adolescence, youth, adults, all these various stages. What we see is the body keeps changing. What it appears as this stage, what it appears as the next stage. So there are changes happening to the body. And she is Vayu Avastha, different stages of ages. Vivarjitaye, it is not hers. She's beyond that. So she does not age. She is Nithya Yavana. We have seen she is Nithya, she is eternal. We've seen in her earlier names, Om Śreem Nithya namah swaha, 136, 344, Om Śreem Kshaya Vriddhi Vinirmuktaye namah swaha. Kshaya is deteriorating, Vriddhi is growing. So she doesn't keep growing, she doesn't diminish, there is no change in her. 358 we saw she is Om Śreem Tarunyai namah swaha. Youthful, always eternal and always youthful. So there is Vayovastha Vivarjitaye, beyond all changes related to age. She's beyond all that. This Brahman that she is, we saw earlier, and yet we bring her into the form, because that is when the mind can comprehend. The mind needs something to hold on to understand, and then to absorb it and experience it at the soul experience. For that, the mind gets more and more mature in its practices to see her, to grasp her, and then her essence. When the mind matures to that level, when it can merge with the soul, then these forms, the names are not needed. It just dissolves in her, and it's beyond the stage of the mind. We saw she cannot be reached through the senses, through words, or through the mind. She's beyond that. But in the process of going to the source, we need all these. These are like the stages of our growth, our evolution in the stage of the mind's evolution to reach that state that she is. And we see her in the feminine form, we see her in the masculine form, we see her in various forms, as a baby, as a child, see her as Bala Narayani, we see her as Narayani, we see her in various forms. And if I mentioned this earlier, if you see Narayani, either big Narayani or Mangla Narayani, even Shakti Amma Narayani, each day, each moment, the face changes. It is not the same face. It changes. Sometimes it looks young, older. Even if it's older or younger or youthful, it's not the same face every day. It just changes from day to day, from time to time, even within the day. And people have described that also in Guruvayurappan. The face changes. If when you, as a devotee, when you see the divine, it is not the same constant face. It is so changing, and the mind is able to accept each of these, to understand and grasp each of these as the same divine behind each appearance. So as the mind becomes finer and more fine-tuned, it absorbs and takes in all the forms and all the appearances. And for her, she is beyond all this. In our process, in our journey, we see her through all the stages also, and beyond also as our mind matures. There are stories we will see again. She comes as elderly, she comes as male, she comes as a female, sometimes she comes in any form. And each of these forms, each of this age or stages, even though she comes in that form, she herself is beyond all these. Her 471st name, Om Śreem Siddheshwaryai namah swaha. Om Śreem Siddheshwaryai, Siddha Ishwari, joined together. Siddheshwaryai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Om Śreem Siddheshwaryai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Om Śreem Siddheshwaryai namah swaha. Om Śreem Siddheshwaryai namah swaha. Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who is the supreme goddess of the Siddhas. The Siddha, she is the Ishwari, the ruler, the ultimate mother. All the Siddhas worship. She is the Ishwari for all the Siddhas. And who are Siddhas? The perfected beings. In the journey to be with the divine, as each advances, there comes a stage when each being, those who achieve the state of this perfection, they can merge with the divine. They continue to be the devotee to interact with the divine. These Siddhas are spiritual adepts. And Siddhi means perfection. it is a skill, and these skills are perfected is a siddhi. And often there is, most popularly, is Ashta Siddhi, the 8 siddhis. There are many, many more siddhis, but often in many times in scriptures and references, we refer to as Ashta Siddhis, like becoming Anima, Mahima, tinier and tinier than the atom, smaller than the smallest, Mahima, bigger than the biggest, heavier than the heaviest, lighter than the lightest, and light, able to transit through all these, what people call the metaphysical, the magical, but these are all skills that are perfected by the siddhas. And where do they get it from? From her. She is the Ishwari of all the siddhis. It is from her all the siddhis are formed, and she is the one who confers these siddhis to everyone. So the siddhas worship her. She is the Ishwari, the ruler, the cosmic mother, the supreme mother for all the siddhas. There is the Kashi Varanasi, where the river Ganges comes, where many people look at Kashi as a very sacred place for various reasons. And one is the Ganges is there. The Ganges is there in Mother Ganges is there in Varanasi, Haridwar, Rishikesh, Gomukh, where she starts. Her visible appearance of the river begins at Gomukh, where she starts, and then she flows in through the places. Varanasi is very sacred and special. It is said that those who die in Varanasi, their soul attains moksha, mukti. And there are so many sacred temples, and Varanasi is famous for the main one. And in one of the temples, she is also known as Siddheshwari there. And talking about this siddhis again, the siddhas, when they attain the siddhis, even if we come across a siddha in real life, they will look very simple, ordinary, not, it may be even difficult to recognize that one is a siddha. All the perfection, their siddhi skills are kept hidden. Their devotion, their practice, that's what comes up. And these gifts they receive, the siddhis they receive, they use it only for the divine. They never misuse these for worldly, material, worldly life. And like when we get a very precious, like say a sword, knife, or something very beautiful, we use it specifically for a certain time, for the right occasion, not randomly just because we have it, we just don't use it anytime. And they have their prowess and they have their uses, and those who get it, it requires greater skill not to be misled by it. You know, once we have too much money, we can misuse it. Like when we have something more power, there is tendency to misuse. So same way, the siddhas are so perfected, not just in the siddhis as beings, so they don't misuse their siddhis. And that is an important aspect. Anyone who misuses, loses it, or they incur a lot of bad karma, for it takes a long time to pay off the bad debt in that process. So they are very aware of this, the siddhas. And she is the queen, the Ishwari, the ruler of all the siddhas. During the, there is, you know, when we do the worship of the Sri Chakra, the Navavarna Puja and all that, there is also another interpretation for this. The innermost dot, the bindu, where she is the bindu, the core, and the triangle with the 3, these are like imaginary these are like here, it's not like physically you see these lines, energetically they are there. And that innermost triangle represents all the gurus, the Guru Mandala Puja. And it said that all the gurus had assembled there, they were there, each one has their sthanam, their place, and they residing, seated there, they heard Vasini, all the Vāgdevis chanting and offering the Lalitha Sahasranamam to Sri Lalitha and in her royal court, and they sit and listen to her, and she is the Siddheshwari who is receiving all these chants from all of us. And these gurus are there present to the Siddheshwaras, the gurus are there listening to, imbibing, soaking in, listening to her names and the chants. Her 472nd name, Om Śreem Siddhavidyai namah swaha. 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 Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, whose mantra, the eternal science, the Sri Vidya, the Panchadasi mantra, the universal mantra, is always fruitful. Vidya, those in the path, when they say Vidya, they mean the Sri Vidya. It's understood. Siddha is the perfection. So the Vidya, that wisdom has yielded the fruit. So it has fructified and is always fruitful. That mantra, the Panchadasi mantra, the Shodasi mantra, is always fruitful. It fulfills the essence of that Vidya, that wisdom that one comes to learn from that. And this is the eternal Vidya, the wisdom, the knowledge there is. Because it is the blueprint of entirety of the universe, of creation, of the source and entirety. So this is eternal science. And it is said that each mantra has a devata, a divinity who is the ruler of each mantra. And the divine that is the ruler of the mantra, is the head of each mantra, could be a deva or a devi. So if it is the deva, the masculine form of that energy of the devata, it is called, the mantram is referred to as mantram. And the mantram, if the deity that rules that mantram is a devi, is the Stri, it's feminine, it is called as Vidyai. So here when you're saying Vidyai, it could be Sri Vidya, or it could be any of the mantras for whom the ruling deity is the feminine deity, a devi. So it is said when you receive a mantra and you chant that mantra, whichever way you've been taught to chant, that devi, that deity, whether the deva or the devi, is bound to that mantra. And as you chant, you are invoking them, and they are bound to confer their blessings as you chant. And that's why it's said, like, how many times you chant, how long you chant, the purity and the intention with which you chant that purity, it draws and it brings the fructification of that mantra. And there are more details to this as I was reading, that that divine who's bound to that mantra can confer the blessings. If you abuse it, they can also, that energy can become harmful. So it's the same energy as we will see, as Amma says, but when it is twisted or too much in excess or wrongly done, it can cause harm. And even if it hasn't fructified in this birth, the energy comes with us, and at some birth it can takes its full completion and it fructifies at that time. And when we chant a mantra, like there is a way in the Siddha Vidya, she is that the Vidya, when you're offering the mantra, any mantra, when we are chanting like Sri Lalitha, Sundari Lakri, any of the mantras, there is a protocol, there is a procedure on how to start. You just don't start with Om Śreem Matre Namah Swaha. There is a preamble to it that leads up to, you have to say this, 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 and then finally, now you come to the actual chanting of the mantra. So there is a process here called Nyasam. And we would have seen Nyasam is can be interpreted two ways. One is to bring in and place something there, like binding it there, bringing it there, or removing, cutting off. But here the Nyasam, like Sannyasam, sannyasi is one who has cut off the bonds, all attachments. He has become sannyasi, so he has let go of all the bondings. Nyasam. Here, the nyasam that is done before any prayers is like invoking each deity to each thing. Like when we sit for a yagam, the priest chants all the different mantras. You would have seen even for yagams, or even when the priest is doing the puja to Narayani, they do this, they do different mudras. If you have seen, they do this. This is all different aspects of invoking the different devis, the deities of the different regions to come. It's called avahanam, inviting them to come and take their seat there. So like when we are chanting Sri Lalitha, the nyasam that comes is Angan Nyasaha. Angam is all the body parts. You are invoking these deities. Would be like this. Angan Nyasaha Aim Hridayaya Namaha Klim Sirase Swaha Sau Sikhaya Vashat Sau Kavachaya Hum Klim Netrayaya Vashat Aim Astraya Bhat Bhur Bhuvas Suvaro Miti Digbandhaha. This is that invoking the different deities to the heart, to the eyes, to the shoulders, as an armor to protect you, to the head, the hair, the tuft. So each of them, we are invoking the deities to come sit with us as we do the chanting. And then after that, the chanting begins. So if you next watch the yagam, you can listen to the priests when they are doing the nyasam. If you don't remember the word nyasam, it's okay, but there are these protocols before you start something. Like in a yagam, you invoke Ganesha into the yagam. You invoke the Navagrahas, the 9 planets into the yagam. You invoke the whatever we are doing, the different yagams, we invoke them there and then only then proceed with it. So in this, she is Siddha Vidya. She comes in to bring that fruition, to fructify the yagam and the chanting that we do, the yagam we do. Our chanting is also an offering, a yagam. So she is the Siddha Vidya. She gives that boon for all those who offer their practices, that nyasam to her. And the Sri Vidya is many lifetimes to discuss on that. The masters who teach that and the students who learn that. It is Guru Sishya disciple to go into the Sri Vidya. Someone is Sri Vidya Upasaka, means they have taken that, and along with their daily routines, their focus is on this sadhana, Sri Vidya sadhana. Her 473rd name, Om Śreem Siddhamatre namah swaha. 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 Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who is the mother of the Siddhas. Matra's mother, Siddha Matre, mother of the Siddhas, Siddha's mother, who is the perfect mother. Siddha is perfect, Matre, mother. She is the perfect mother. In the whole of the creation, she is the perfect mother. She knows every child, what every child wants, whether human or any other sentient form, all the creation. She is the cosmic mother and she's the perfect one. It is from her we learn our motherhood. So she's the source of all motherhood. She is Siddhamata. Can also look at Siddhamata, mother who has come in the form of Siddha. That's how we see Sri Shakti Amma Narayani, the cosmic mother. Sri Lalitha Narayani has come in the form of the Siddha, the perfected being. She hasn't come in her physical form, bedecked in all her ornaments, jewelry, as a cosmic mother. We see her as a Siddha Mata, perfected Siddha form of her. There is a bhajan, you would have heard this, one of the, it's like, goes like this in one of the stanzas. It starts with Om Bhurбhuva Swaha in that different format. Om Bhurбhuva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Then many stanzas come. One of the stanzas is Siddha Mata Narayani Go Mata Narayani Janani Janani Narayani Arul Shakti Narayani. Here she is Siddha Mata Narayani, the cosmic perfect being, mother, the Narayani, the cosmic mother, Sri Lalitha Narayani. Siddha Mata Narayani, Sri Shakti Amma is the Siddha form of mother, form of Narayani. Gomata, the Gomata is Narayani, so she is the divine holy cow, is the mother. Janani, Janani, or I could say Janani is Ja is birth. Janani, she is the one who gives birth to everything, from which everything is born. She is Janani, Arul Shakti Narayani. So she is that cosmic mother for the Siddhas, for all of humanity, for all of creation, for all the beings. Her last name for this week, 474th name. Om Śreem Yashasvinyai namah swaha. Om Śreem Yashasvinyai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Om Śreem Yashasvinyai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Om Śreem Yashasvinyai namah swaha. Om Śreem Yashasvinyai namah swaha. Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who is Yashasvini. Yashasvini is the most renowned, the most famous one. So the foremost, everything that stands out, the first, so glorious, that is Yashasvini. There is also another interpretation, like we see in the Sri Chakra, so many deities are there, all her forms, various names for various qualities. And one of the deities is Yashasvini. And the next few names, as we are going to see, several names, we will be revisiting the chakras. And for each chakra, there is a deity. And Kakini, we will see later on, is the deity of Swadhisthana, the sacral chakra. And each deity has her entourage of other deities who accompany her. Like when we saw the Bandasura Vadam, Sri Lalitha is coming, and with her is Varahi, Matangi, the Chaturbhujam. Each hand, she has the different deities, and they accompany her wherever she goes. And like that, each Kakini has an entourage of deities, and one of deities in her entourage is Yashasvini. So there are so many names. She is the totality, the Supreme Mother with that name, or she is the deity in one of these specific roles that they have taken up. Like we see Nithya Devis, she is there as that role, or she is that total cosmic one that she is. And to touch upon one of the earlier names and this one, I will read a question and answer session apart from the Connect with the Divine, volume 7, page 137. The devotee is asking, what is the reason that people have specific diseases? Is it all karmic? Amma, it is all based on karma. Otherwise, energy will flow without any blocks. Energy flows equally everywhere. Sometimes we wonder, what is negative energy? If we say positive energy is divine, then what is negative energy? When you say the divine exists everywhere, that there is no place without the divine, then where is the negative energy? Devotee, I guess it is also divine. Amma, yes. So when you add a little bit of salt, enough salt for seasoning the food, then the food becomes tasty. And if you add this much salt, showing a large amount, devotee, then you have a problem. Amma, then it does not taste so good. Still it is salt, which is important for flavoring food. So then the ratio is different. Similarly, the proportion of energies, when they are not mixed in the right combination, will turn the whole mix into negative energy. When you add sugar to milk, it tastes good. If you add salt, you can't drink it. Milk is good, sugar is also good, salt is also good. But here the thing is, it all depends with the ratio and how they get mixed. That is how you get the result. The divine is everywhere. There is no negative energy, but the combination might not be good. And so we say, no, it is not good. Maybe the combination is not good or right here or right there. So when you say so-and-so is bad, he's always very angry, think, can anyone live without anger in this world? Sometimes you need feel some anger to stop some things. If anger exceeds a certain limit, then that person becomes bad. What is a demon? The force with an excessive level of anger, that is what we call a demon. If everything is within limits, it is fine. If something exceeds its limit, that something turns negative. So with that, we label as negative. Anger can have positive outcome, like taking action against injustice. The reason I'm sharing this is, as we go through the Sri Chakra, Sri Vidya, we are going through so many levels. We will be hearing so many different names of the different deities, and we hearing so many different names of Sri Lalitha Narayani. Each aspect is in that perfect blend of that energy. And when we go through these levels, as we go through these stages, like her entourage of each of these different deities, that quality that they are imbibing, that they are ruling over, that they can grant you their blessings, they are in that perfect state of that energy. No excess, no lack. That perfection gives them the ability to confer their blessings. And we, as we go through the different chakras, the different levels of the Sri Chakra, when we learn more about it, whenever that is, as we go closer to her, one of them is that aspect that is clearing diseases. You need a perfect, energized body to reach her. And you may do so many other aspects, but as you go closer and closer, and one of the closer innermost levels is that layer, that avaranam is Sarva Vyadhi. She is like clear. You cannot cross that stage till your body is free of all diseases. And there are deities there that confer their blessings to clear all the diseases. And what are these? To clear all the imbalances, the excesses, lacks, the twists and turns, to make that energy flow perfect. That is the whole process of anyone going through this journey, inner journey of the Sri Vidya. The mantras, these mantras attune and bring in the right energy, the right flow of the right energy in the right way, in the right manner, in the right proportion. And it is all her grace. And with our intention and our effort and that purity in the seeking, we should chant her and offer our chants for this week's Sri Lalitha Narayani's names. Om Śreem Vajrēśvaryai namah swaha. Om Śreem Vajrēśvaryai namah swaha. Om Śreem Vajrēśvaryai namah swaha. Om Śreem Vāmadevā namah swaha. Om Śreem Vāmadevā namah swaha. Om Śreem Vāmadevai namah swaha. Om Śreem Vajovastha vivarjitaye namah swaha. Om Śreem Vajovastha vivarjitaye namah swaha. Om Śreem Vajovastha vivarjitaye namah swaha. Om Śreem Siddheshwaryai namah swaha. Om Śreem Siddheshwaryai namah swaha. Om Śreem Siddheshwaryai namah swaha. Om Śreem Siddhavidyayai namah swaha. Om Śreem Siddhavidyayai namah swaha. Om Śreem Siddhavidyayai namah swaha. Om Śreem Siddhamatre namah swaha. Om Śreem Siddhamatre namah swaha. Om Śreem Siddhamatre namah swaha. Om Śreem Yashasvinyai namah swaha. Om Śreem Yashasvinyai namah swaha. Om Śreem Yashasvinyai namah swaha. Om Sarvamangalamangalye Shive Sarvarthasadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Namah swaha. Om Jnanarupaya vidmahe Shaktiyam saya dhimahi Tanno Shaktiyam ma prachodayat. Namah swaha. Om Namo Narayani. Let us offer our chantings, our love, our devotion, our prayers to Sri Lalitha Narayani, to her in the yagam, in all her names, seeking her blessings for all of us, all our loved ones, all of humanity, all the sentient beings, all of Mother Earth, all the worlds, to come into be in this path, this fold of spirituality, to receive this gift of devotion for the divine, to connect to her with the divine within us, to connect to her, the divine within each other, within each one, to connect to her, the divine within the whole of the creation, to always be in the state of all the soulful qualities of bliss, joy, laughter, peace, wisdom, abundance, compassion, honoring of all life forms, all the soul qualities by the grace and blessings of Sri Lalitha Narayani, by the grace and blessings of Sri Shakti Amma Narayani. Om Namo Narayani. Are there any questions?
Dr. Lakshmi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Which connect to the divine was the information on the that you read out about negative energy being divine, as
Which
well
volume
as
did I read it from?
Yeah, please.
Volume 7.
7. Okay, that's lovely.
Page 147, yes.
147.
Yes.
Lovely,
and the
thanks.
Siddhas have perfected the way of channeling the energy. For her, she doesn't take any effort. It just flows naturally because that is her. For the others, we make the effort to reach that state.
Absolutely. And when you're doing it like a mala of Ganesh, should you do a little invocation beforehand, like calling on Ganesh to be here with you, or simply calling on Sri Shakti Amma Narayani Sahasranam? Is that?
We do that. Okay. We are doing that before we begin the class, we are chanting the Guru Gayatri, Sarvamangala Narayani Mula Mantra, and we do Gam Ganapataye. We are invoking for the class, but we are not doing the Nyasaha. That is when it needs more practice to take that. And when we sit for chanting the whole of Sri Lalitha Sahasranamam, those who are very proficient and trained, many don't have to do it. They just go straight into it. We say, Om Śreem, Shri Matre Namah Swaha. We say, Mother, I bow down to you, and this is a child. This is the capacity of the child. She takes it right from there. She doesn't expect more than that. But someone who's so proficient in it, they have to go through the protocols. Like the priests, if you see, they go through all these protocols. If you sit and observe before the Yagam chants, they offer the name that day in the chant, you would see so many of these preceding protocols they would be chanting before they start on the chant. So now we've been a bit exposed to it, we can pay a bit more attention and observe when they're doing the chanting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just the Sri Lalitha, but other things also. And
beautiful.
Those of us who know it and want to go deeper, there are books, and these books come with these. And when we inculcate that into our practices, we slowly are on the path to proficiency. So it starts with a single small step, and it's there with her grace and the seeking to whoever wants.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Richard. There's a question from Mary.
Om Namo Narayani.
What is meant by the left path? Day 469, it is mentioned. Vāmācārā. We saw earlier, if we go to the names of we are looking at 69, Vāmadevā. When we are going through the beginning of the chakras, we are Kulāṅganāya, Kulāntasthāya in the 90s. If you go into it, after the Vagbhava, those Panchadashi is being described. After that, we go into Om Śreem Kulamritaikarasikāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem Kula Sanketa Palinyai namah swaha. Om Śreem Kulanganayai namah swaha. Om Śreem Kulantasthayai namah swaha. Kula is the path, it's describing the chakra, the pathway it's going. And the 94th is Om Śreem Kaulinyai namah swaha. And we go back to listen to what Kaulini, the Kaula path, is the left path. Here there is a description of like when we go to the temples, there are protocols. We offer the flowers, the incense, the pujas, and all these things to the divine. This is called the vāmācārā worship. By doing all that, we are invoking her inside. It's called an internal worship. It seems like the puja is external, but the puja is to draw our mind to that stillness and focus, bring us to her inside. That is later on we see 96, 97, Akulaya without the path. And 97, Om Śreem Samayantasthayai namah swaha. Om Śreem Samayācārā tatparayai namah swaha. So Samayācārā is the path, and the Kaula path is also called the Vāma path, the left path. Here, most people, Tantra by itself is a very huge topic, and Tantra is a tool. It is like applied science. That's how we see it. But many people have reduced it to tantric worship as a small entity of the Tantra. So even when we do the pujas, the worships, all that, like applied engineering, it's like bringing the materials together to bring in the result you want. Like you're offering the flowers, the fragrance, it represents the earth element. You're offering the deepam, the light, which is the fire element. You're offering the mantras, the sound, the chanting, the sound element, the air element, the water. We offer the naivedyam, the food to the divine. Water, it represents the water element. The taste, it represents the water element. So we are offering the panchabhutas, and we are invoking and we are aligning with the panchabhutas when we make all these offerings. This is a lot that we are familiar with in the Samayācārā practices. In the Kaula practices, which condensed version people refer to, when people say tantric, it becomes that people say, oh, it's to do with sex. So that is one aspect of the left path, and it gets a lot of bad name because of that. And many people shy away from it, keep away from it, because it is a very tightrope walk. You can go wrong very easily. So it is not meant for many. People get drawn to it, think, oh, it's sex, excitement, and all that. But this is anything but excitement. It is bringing that detachment and alignment and perfection to bring the senses, thoughts, every form into that oneness, to reach her through that Kaula path or the Vāma path. And they say 5 makaras, ma, m in that. One is when you go into the Sanskrit word, it goes into the m. Eating fish, eating meat, drinking wine, sex, and the mudra. So these are the 5 aspects that are very core, central to it. And it is in a very honoring, worshipping way. So you, even if it is in that aspect of sexes, you see the divine in the other, and not like that one sees for pleasure, which is what it's equated to. So it requires a totally different training to see that as a path of worship to reach the divine, which is not given to many. Many are not fit for it, and many are dissuaded to go through this, take up this Vāma path or the Kaula path. And it is people say it's a dangerous path. It's like going on the north face climb, because it's very steep, rocky, challenging. It's very easy to fall. It's a dangerous path. So yes, and those who seek it with that sincerity, she is Vāmadevā because she's a cosmic mother. And if that child is coming through that path, she confers the bliss to that child when the child does it the right way, like the positive way of doing it, the right energy, the right combination, the right ratio. It's very easy to get the wrong ratio in that path. I hope that explains the question on Vāmadevā, Vāma path. Does that answer you, Mary? Thank you. So, sorry, today, for next few weeks, I will not be in my sari. I kind of injured my wrist and it's like a hairline fracture or something. And I just arrived in the US this morning. So, and from now, I hope we can maintain this time and continue with this. And we'll take it from there. Yeah, after 6 months, yeah. Thank you very much. We'll meet again next week, and meanwhile, we will soak in her names, each of her names this week. Om Namo Narayani. Are there any questions? We can end the session otherwise. Bye for now.